much energy in this room.
Wake up, people. Wake up.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. I know it's been a long night, but it's an important day in the NBA, important day for franchises, and it was an exciting night. We acquired rights to a player that we liked, and we're very excited about it. And now our focus is shifting to free agency. All our group is going to focus on that and how we can improve our team moving forward. So we'll take your questions.
Darnell Mayberry, The Athletic. Artūras, are you allowed to talk about the pick right now? Is it official?
About the player, yes. About the actual transaction, wouldn't talk about the details.
What did you like about Julian Phillips?
Well, our group liked him. He's, ex-McDonald's, All-American, freshman, 19 years old, multi-positional defender. Athletes in the draft, 43-inch vertical, and he can step in right now. Probably can defend on our level, but he has a lot of things obviously to improve. But we're looking forward to. He's very young and he's very talented.
I was just curious, AK, about the, I guess Cody Westerlund from 670 scored, but the thought process of trading up and then taking a guy who, like you just said, has room to improve, that is a freshman coming out of college. Was there a thought process to taking an older player, someone more ready in the rotation, or how do you balance those things?
No, we just target most talented guys, and because our group had them much higher. We looked at a lot of things in the first round as well, and it just came out that we had a good transaction in the second round, and we got a very good player, so we're pretty happy with that.
Casey Johnson with NBC Sports Chicago. Artūras, this may be more of a symbolic question, but with Jet Howard's selection by the Orlando Magic tonight, that officially closes the books on that Nikola Vucevic trade. 2 years and 3 months down the road, how do you assess that trade?
I think it was a beginning where we try to build here in Chicago. I think that transaction, when we brought Vuce here, showed everyone that we're trying to win. I think once we brought Vuce, we brought in DeMar, we brought Alex Caruso, we brought Zoe, and I think, that started, trying to, improve our team and try to be competitive. And, I thought that deal worked out pretty well for us.
Yes, AK. So when it came to that draft pick, how much did the Derrick Jones Jr. Announcement impact you drafting another athletic forward with similar traits?
Mark, would you like to answer that?
He said AK. It played a bit of a factor, no doubt. DJ, for everything he brought to the court, the athleticism, the length, his ability to get out and defend multiple positions. Julian fits a lot of those same attributes. And, as we sat up there and went through it and figured out who was available and who wasn't, it played a little bit of a part. Again, they're both very similar in terms of the way they play and style of play. And, we're excited about bringing him into the fold.
Yeah, Mark, another one for you. This is 2 straight years you all have drafted players who need work shooting. What is the plan? How do you explain to your fan base that you need shooting, but you're drafting players who aren't great shooters?
When we both showed up here a few years ago, we talked a lot about player development and internal growth. We recently hired a new director of player development to focus just on that, shooting. and, you know, being shot ready and being ready to shoot the ball when you're open. So it's something that's very important to us. We'll continue to work on it every single day. And again, we've addressed it in terms of our coaching staff and hiring somebody recently.
Artūras, you mentioned earlier that you guys were potentially targeting some first-round picks. How urgent did that kind of feel tonight of wanting to push up into the first round, or are you satisfied with landing where you did?
No, it's not urgent. You're just looking for value in the draft, or the way we put it. But you know, we've had some looks in the first, but we thought that the best value we can get is at the position that we acquired, you know, Julian, and it worked out very, very well, I think.
Drew Stevens with the Bigs, AK and Mark. Given Julian Phillips' reputation as not being much of a shooter right now at this period of time, how much more of a premium will you guys put on shooting going into free agency?
Well, I think, you know, after the season, I think I mentioned that we trying to change our shooting profile, being, you know, last in the league in rate from a three and three-point makes. So I think we're going to try to address that in off-season.
Collier, ESPN. It's been a few months since Lonzo has had his surgery. What's new? What's the latest on him? Is he able to do anything? And kind of where is he at this point?
Well, he's recovering nicely. I think last month he got off the crutches, and you know, he's recovering, doing his rehab. You know, everything is going well. Going into off season, I think our expectation is that he's not coming back next season, and he's going to continue on his recovery. If he comes back, it would be great. But we're just going to treat this off season and getting ready for the season that he's not going to be back next season.
That'd be 2 years potentially of him not playing. Do you have confidence that he's going to be able to play for you guys at any point in the future?
No, I hope eventually you're going to see him on a basketball court, but I do not think he's going to be back next season.
For either one of you, what is going to be kind of the process with Nikola Vucevic as you enter free agency? You obviously have the ability to extend him before then. You express confidence, or at least the desire to resign him when we talked to you in mid-April. So where does that stand? What's going to be kind of the plan with Vuce?
I think work in progress. I think we kind of taking one step at a time, you know, draft right now, and we're gonna, you know, continue talking to Vuce and representation, and you know, we have a ton of free agents, a couple of them restricted, unrestricted, so we're gonna short term, you know, we're gonna figure it out.
Mark Harmon, WGN. Just overall, at the top of the draft, Victor Wembanyama, like no one's ever seen a player like that enter the league. Did you ever think you'd see a guy who that long who plays like he does, and what do you think his impact will be?
He's pretty incredible. You know, for me, he's probably one of the best 18-year-olds I've ever seen in my life. You know, if he stays healthy, if he stays committed to the game, he's got a chance to be a generational type talent. You know, he's got a lot of, beyond the length and the skill, his ability to shoot the ball, protect the rim, he's got a chance to be elite.
Following up on the Lonzo line of thinking, how does that impact the way that you approach the point guard position in this offseason, and kind of what's been the front office approach to that?
Well, I think, again, we're going to look at this free agency. We have a lot of free agents, and we're going to address shooting, address the lead position, and yeah, it's you know, this is the time to talk about it, and we have group next week. We're gonna, you know, we're gonna address it, and once the free agency starts, I'm sure there's information is going to come out, and we'll see what we have. But there's a lot of work to do. You know, we have to get better, and we're going to address that.
AK, it sounds like, from everything we heard from you, that you guys are still, you want to try to build a roster. You're not looking at rebuild. But given the situation with Lonzo Ball, I know you guys are still holding out hope. Is there any chance of you guys maybe waving and stretching? Is that on the table at all?
No, it's not. Not at this time, no.
I have a question. Zach LaVine once again landed in trade rumors, some of which were maybe accurate and some of which maybe were fabricated. I know you're not going to address specific conversations, but just kind of overall, where is Zach standing within this organization?
I think you know, as always, we're not going to comment on rumors, but I think we all were disappointed the way the season ended, and Zach, I think, was one of the guys that was very disappointed the way it ended in Miami, and he went into off season to get better, and he's already working out with Ty Abbott, our player development, in LA. So he started his work. He started early, so he's trying to get better. So I think a lot of our guys right now already in off season, working hard and trying to get better and get ready for the season. So.
Derek Jones during the season kind of indicated that he might or would opt in. Were you surprised, based on his decision? Like,
I mean, I don't participate in their decisions, so it's up to players. So, you're talking about Derek Jones, right?
Derek Jones.
Yeah. So I think he's a free agent right now, and when the time comes, we're going to be talking to him as well. So, I mean, I think.
How about possibly bringing him back?
Yes, there's always possibility too. So.
Do you know about the circumstances with Andre Drummond yet? Because
we still don't know. We still don't know. So he's going to make a decision.
And one other. There's obviously always a lot of rumors, speculation goes on before the draft, free agency and all. What would your attitude or response, or how would you characterize all the stuff that was talked about regarding the Bulls that you might have read about leading up to
I do not follow that. I do not read that. I think I'm focused on, what our group thinks and how we can improve this team. And I think, as we said that before, I think we have a lot of work to do. And, you obviously writing about how much work we need to do, and people telling me that, we need to get to it. So we will this week, and we're going to address our stuff in free agency.
I mean, you mentioned the shooting coach. I assume you're talking about Peter Patton. Is that correct? Can you talk a little bit more about why you guys brought him in, any prior relationship you guys had, and what's the plan to utilize him over the summer?
So I think, AK talked a lot about it at the end of the season when he sat before you guys, and he talked about our shooting profile and, the need to increase not only three-point looks, but, just shooting in general. And, as a team, our shooting needs to improve. And we sat as a group and talked about what are the things that we need to do. And one of them we thought about was we needed to hire a shooting coach. Peter comes to us not only as a shooting coach, but somebody can actually oversee our player development function. We thought we needed a fresh look. We thought we needed to look at a different approach, and he brings a wealth of experience to that position. So we're excited about having him here in our building, working with our coaching staff, working with our players, and we feel like he can help the overall look and feel of how we play the game and shoot the ball.
I kind of asked this question in mid-April. I'm going to try to ask it again. You've talked about all the work you have to do in free agency, and obviously you guys have goals and targets in mind right now as to what you want to accomplish in free agency, but you've also expressed a desire to re-sign Nikola Vucevic, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu. I'm not great at math, but my math takes you guys really close to the luxury tax line if you re-sign those three guys. So how are you going to also use the mid-level exception and address needs in free agency if you want to retain your own free agents, or maybe you don't?
Very long question, as always, KC. I think it all depends, on free agency, how that goes. And, Jerry and Michael have been always open with me to go into luxury tax if our team is competitive. Top 4, top 6 in the East. If there are players in free agency that we can, there we go. That can improve our team, and we're competitive. We'll retain our free agents. Yes.
A couple quick housekeeping items. Will you extend qualifying offers to Ayo and Kobe?
Can we even talk about it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, like I said, we talked about at the end of the season about Kobe and Ayo. I think they developing, young players. So we're gonna address that in free agencies.
And then a quick one, follow up on Lonzo. You said you're operating under the assumption he won't return. Will you apply for the disabled player exception that I think is about half his salary?
We'll meet up as a group and we'll decide what we're gonna do. So.
Yeah, Artūras, for fans who might look at the situation and be disappointed that you stood pat at the deadline and that you didn't make a big trade, leading into the, involving draft night. What's your message to that segment of the fan base?
Well, I think we made a move in the draft. I know it's a disappointment. It's not in the first round, but we did. But they will have to wait until the free agency and to see what we look like after that.